Awesome. Should we talk defense, John? Are you good on offense?
I'm good. Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. All right. So I got to talk about, and I'm just going to get the elephant out of the room, right? Just address it right away. Defensive coordinator Matt Patricia, controversial hire for a number of reasons. In college, obviously a very long time ago in the 90s, he was accused of sexual assault and arrested. However, the charges ultimately were dropped when the victim decided not to testify. So that's, we should note all that. Started as an assistant OL coach, switched to defense under Bill Belichick with New England Patriots, coached linebackers, safeties, became DC, had great results, won 2 Super Bowls. Defenses were very good, ranking anywhere from 1st through 10th in the league during his time there. Then he became head coach of the Detroit Lions, and his defenses weren't very good. 16th, 26th, and 32nd. Ouch. So I guess my question is, you're Ohio State, you're Ryan Day, you're coming off a national title. You can have any coach just about in the country that you want. Why Matt Patricia?
Yeah, it's interesting. Matt Patricia was very, like you said, it was very back and forth with, the way Ohio State fans thought about him. I was indifferent. I said, you know what? He's got a good pedigree in the NFL, won some Super Bowls. So at the end of the day, I'm not going to question it too much. The Lions years do kind of, give me some concern. But at the same time, I've also seen guys be head coaches before and then go on and be really good coordinators after that. I mean, look at Tom Allen right now. Tom Allen produced a really good defense at Penn State he did okay for a couple years at Indiana, but he got fired.
Yeah.
And it needed to happen. So, but the thing that Matt Patricia talks about with the Lions, and I preface all of this by saying, we don't know. Right? Like, we'll see what happens. He can give us every story in the book, and he can just try to make himself seem like a good guy. He seems like more jovial. He seems like somebody who is happier to be in the situation he is now than he was with the Lions. He's lost a bunch of weight. I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens. It could all be an act, or he could just be this really, fun, go-lucky guy now. We'll see what happens. But at the end of the day, I think that the concern about the Lions stuff, isn't as much. He was in a number of podcasts talking about it, and he also told the media about how when he got to the Lions, he kind of treated the Lions like he was still with New England. Right? To where it was like, we're not satisfied with anything. We're going to, trying to basically do everything like Bill Belichick did. And, we've seen that with Josh McDaniels. We've seen that with all kinds of guys from the Patriots try to go someplace and basically be Bill Belichick. Well, the truth is Bill Belichick is Bill Belichick because only Bill Belichick can be Bill Belichick, right? And we're seeing how that works out at North Carolina right now. We'll see how the season goes, but I don't think it's going to go well.
Neither do we.
If they get to the season. If he gets there.
Yeah. They've been really quiet lately. I think that's the best thing that happened.
Yeah. For sure.
But I have optimism, but I'm not going to be fully bought in until I kind of see it this year. The thing I'm excited about is that I do think that this team would benefit by going to more of a 3-3 or a 3-4 in the front seven type of, or front six, whatever you want to call it, type of deal. And I think that Matt Patricia would be able to do that better than Jim Knowles would. And then the other side of this, and this gets talked about a little bit, but Larry Johnson and Jim Knowles did not get along at all. I mean, they there was no love lost there when Jim Knowles moved on. Neither of them will talk about it, in front of the media or anything, because they're both respectable guys who don't want to cause any drama. And for the record, I still like Jim Knowles. I'm not totally against him like some other Buckeye fans are. I get the revenge. Like, I want to beat Penn State too because there's some revenge factor there. But at the end of the day, I don't hate Jim Knowles or anything. He went home and found himself another job. And so I do think that there is more respect that Larry Johnson has for Matt Patricia to where he would listen to him more. But again, this is all stuff we see before the season. We'll see how it actually plays out during the year.
Well, I know we don't have a ton of time, and we want to get to the schedule game, which is my favorite thing. So we'll talk briefly about each of the position groups here. D-line, Buckeyes return 0 starters with stalwarts like Jack Sawyer and JT Tuimalu off to the NFL. However, Ohio State has a combination of homegrown and portal guys to take their place. I've got starters listed as defensive ends Kenyatta Jackson, Caden Curry, and defensive tackles Edric Houston and Caden McDonald. So correct me where I'm wrong. Let me know if there's anyone else you see contributing a lot up front. And what kind of role do we see for CJ Hicks? Is he going to be an edge rusher on passing downs up front, or a little bit, or what do you think with him?
Yeah, C.J. Hicks is the question mark at this point because he's not a linebacker, but he's also not a defensive end. He's just not big enough for it, and he doesn't have Abdul Carter like traits where he can kind of get away with being a little bit smaller. So we'll see what happens with CJ Hicks. That's going to be a really interesting one. If anything, he'll probably be like a specialized edge rusher on third downs, I think possibly. Bo Atkinson, I think, will start instead of Caden Curry. I think you'll probably see Bo Atkinson on
the North Carolina transfer.
Yeah, the North Carolina transfer. I think you'll probably see him and Kenyatta Jackson out there together, but I think you nailed it on Caden McDonald and Edric Houston. Caden McDonald was a huge reason why Ohio State was able to get some of those goal line stands they got last year. So I honestly think going into the season, Caden McDonald could be one of the best, if not the best, defensive tackles in the Big Ten next year. His thing is he has to have the stamina for it, right? Sure. It's a lot like what's his name, Kenneth Grant from Michigan last year. Everybody knew how good he was. He just had to have the stamina to stay out there on the field the entire time. And I think that's what you're going to kind of look for with Caden McDonald is he going to be able to stay out there on the field enough to actually continue to influence the game the way that you hope he would for the entire time.
Cool. All right, we'll move right to the linebacker. Arvell Reese and Sonny Styles are fantastic players. You must have high expectations for the linebacker room this year. And do you see anybody else contributing much?
Yeah, so Arvell and Sonny Styles would be the two main guys. Sonny Styles more of kind of the pass rushing type. Arvell will play more of kind of the run stopper and stuff. I mean, he's going to pass rush too, don't get me wrong, but he's going to be more the Mike in that situation. Peyton Pierce is a sophomore that you could see kind of take some time in the Mike role to release Arvell Reese to do some more of that pass rushing. They got two guys from recruiting, Riley Pettijohn and TJ Alford. Riley Pettijohn had numbers that were just as fast as Travion Henderson in high school. And he plays linebacker, and he's bigger. So now these were also numbers from Travion Henderson when he was a junior, because I think 2020 was like his senior year or something. So they didn't really get super great numbers then, obviously. I mean, nothing super great was happening in 2020, let's be honest.
No.
So I we'll see what happens if those guys get some time, but from everything we hear, very high on the linebacker room for Ohio State this season. If it's not the best position group, it probably will be the second best position group between Sonny Styles and, I mean, there's a lot of people that think Arvell Reese is going to be like one of the best linebackers in the nation. We'll see. I got to see it first, but when he came in relief last year, he was very good. We'll see if he can do it for the entire game.
That's really exciting. All right, now, well, that brings us to the secondary, and not only does Ohio State have the best offensive player in college football in Jeremiah Smith at wide receiver, but in safety, Caleb Downs, you have probably the best defensive player in college football. You also have Malik Hartford at the other safety, who's very good. At corner, it looks like Davison Igbinosun. Yep, Igbinosun. I said it right before I thought about it, and then I thought about it, and that was a mistake. I just got to roll. Jermaine Matthews and the nickelback Lorenzo Styles. Does that sound right, or do you have anyone else penciled in? And then my question about Igbinosun. See, I did practice it. He had issues with penalties at times last year, specifically holding too much. Do you think he's been cured of that problem, or is it something where you just learn to live with the occasional penalty?
Yeah, we'll see what happens with Igbinosun. They made him practice with oven mitts last year, and honestly, when that was happening, it felt like that was when he was playing his best football. So I feel like Matt Patricia, with all the experience he has to have seen something like this before and have an answer for it. But he's got all the traits. I mean, he's got the size, the speed. He's got everything you want to play there. Jermaine Matthews, former freshman All-American. I do think he probably plays on the outside, but I would not be surprised if he moves in to the nickel spot and you see Devin Sanchez, freshman cornerback, out there out wide instead. He got paid a lot of money to come to Ohio State. I'm not in the business of saying numbers or anything like that, but if he was paid what I was told he was paid, he's playing this season. Like you don't pay a guy that much money to just sit there for a season and then we'll get to you. That doesn't happen. And then Caleb Downs, very, very good safety. For my money, he's the second best player in college football. I've seen some people call him a 3. That's fine. He's top 3 at the very least in college football, and he's going to be spectacular this season. The question mark is that other safety position, Malik Hartford or Jalen McClain. It could be either one of them. Malik Hartford did play a lot as a freshman before Caleb Downs got there a couple years ago. But Jalen McClain, he is somebody that the staff and people are very high on as well. Very hard worker, does a lot of the things the way you want it to be done. I would not be surprised at all if we see a good mix of Malik Hartford and Jalen McClain out there, or if we see one of them possibly get some time at the nickel too.
Sure. All good stuff.